Okay, so I have my nephew Matt here. What was it like? Right before winter,
Just after summer, yeah.
just after summer. We were with Paranormal Central, and we went up on what you brought.
Yeah, it was my friend's. My friend is a caregiver for a mansion right off of Millerton Lake, and you can overlook a cove off the northeast side of the house and see across to Sky Harbor, the road that goes around to the houses. Well, he had told me a few weeks prior that he saw a Bigfoot, a big black Bigfoot carrying. Well, he described it as a black object, like the size of a car. If you're looking across the cove onto the mountain, carrying another car. So he went and grabbed his little spotter scope that he's got, and he looked, and it was a Bigfoot. I mean, what else could it be? He said he had a front leg wrapped over to the catty corner back leg and tied into a knot, and he was dragging it up the mountain.
Wow. Full-size cow,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I'd say 800-900 pound steer.
Wow.
They don't have very much smaller ones up there, but
No, you're right.
but you're right. We went there. I took you and your friend there, and I'm going to be honest. I was a little skeptical growing up about the whole Bigfoot thing.
Right.
You know, Sasquatch and abominable snowman, whatever.
Uh-huh.
You know, so me and my cousins, you know, and friends, we'd make jokes about it. My uncle being a firm believer.
Right.
You know, and when my friend told me this, I was like, I gotta tell my uncle. Like, I gotta let him know. So when we went over there, I had a pair of just regular binoculars, and I was looking across the cove, and lo and behold, you know, about 15 minutes of just looking around, I beep you not, there it was. He was sitting there about 10 or 15 feet above the road, just watching the cars go by. And he was a big figure.
In the wide open, too.
Wide open. There was no trees. It was just a bed of rocks and just grass. No trees within at least a quarter mile of any direction. And my buddy was in my car, and he was looking around too, but he didn't have binoculars. Like, hey, you gotta check this out. You gotta check this out. And it took maybe 5 to 10 seconds for me to get the binoculars to him and point him in the right direction, and he was already gone. But from the looks of it, I mean, cars going by, he's about the size of the shadow of a car. So he's a pretty big Bigfoot, male or female, I'm not sure.
Like, they can go uphill pretty fast, so within seconds, you know what I mean?
I mean, light speed.
Like, you can blink and they're not where they were, and they'll be somewhere way far that you think is inhumanly impossible to be. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
it
for
doesn't
sure.
make sense to you that it would be from over here to over there. You know?
Well, probably the reason they haven't been seen too much, you know.
Probably, yeah.
But about 15, 20, 30 more minutes, you know, you and your friend were off. You guys found some footprints and
Right.
stuff like that around the property. But I ended up spotting him again. But this time there was another one. And it was a lot smaller. It was about 7-8 feet tall. I mean, if I had to put an estimation to the height from the distance I would say about 8 to 9 feet, you know. The other one was extremely large. I would probably give it about 13, 14 foot height range.
So the other one was like half the size.
Oh,
right?
easy, yeah, about. But the other one, it was weird because it was hoofing around like an Indian, like a Native American grass dancer.
Oh, you mean it was dancing?
Yeah, it was. He was like flat foot on the ground, dancing around, head towards the ground, you know, like a traditional grass dancer.
Yeah, now that is surprising a little bit. Like, I've never heard that before, but only give us, where were we, like, in Indian terms, where were we? Okay.
We were probably just north, I would say not even a mile, of Table Mountain's sacred grounds.
Right,
Their burial
grounds.
grounds.
And they don't even really know how big that is.
Yeah,
right?
they don't.
So we could have been
we
like
don't.
right in the middle of it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. They could be building those houses, the property, because the road goes down about 2 miles to the lake. I mean, they could be building right on top of their burial grounds and not even know it.
And they probably are.
Yeah.
And they probably don't care.
Yeah.
Sadly. but only it actually protects it. That's probably how they look at it. You know, they put a house over it. Nobody's gonna be digging up the
Right.
You know, and they like their ancestors around, right? That's why they do some of those dances and stuff like that.
Yeah, and you know, my buddy, he's heard a few things on that property too, in the paranormal sense.
In fact, I'd like to one day go back up there, and just me and you, and not with Jeff Gonzalez, you know, and talk with him, because I think he was holding back with Jeff a lot. You know, he was making him feel uncomfortable, kind of like,
a little pushy.
Yeah, a little bit pushy, yeah. But the footprints were
huge,
pretty big, and they were on the beach of the lake, and the place is beautiful. And it is surprising that what he was saying.
Right. Well, there's a time. The next time I went up there after that, one of his dogs were missing, and he's a little bully breed pit bull, black.
Oh, I remember that one.
Yeah, he was missing, and he heard some noises the night before. They figured it was coyotes or something, but they ended up finding the dog in the lake. It was
that dog would not go to the lake.
No, it was afraid.
It was a house dog,
and it was afraid of water.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, but
I mean, it didn't even hardly leave the house.
Right,
it wasn't really ambulatory. It was kind of old and stuff.
Yeah. But
wow.
We were looking around. We were coming back up the road, and I saw these footprints. I pointed them out to my buddy, and they had been like a size 20.
Right.
I mean, we're talking the size of my lower leg.
Right.
And they were about 10 to 15 feet apart, so you could tell that it was big and it was running. But then within, I would say, 20 yards, it slowed down to like 5 or 6 feet per step.
Right.
So you could tell that he was running and he was slowing down, but it was a darn big footprint.
Yeah,
really big
footprint.
footprint.
There's a lot of people that live around there. I wonder how many people lose. I know somebody lost a cow.
Yeah, for sure.
But I wonder how many more dogs and cats and animals, that people lose up there.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And actually, like, this is one of the things that I know, like, the people that's following me, they know that right now I'm big on the Central Valley. Like, they're down here, right?
Yeah.
They're not just in the mountains. And where we're talking about is right at the edge of the valley. It is the lower foothills. In fact, probably the last hills that you come to before you reach the valley from the mountains. So it's like, and then we're near a lake, which the San Joaquin River
flows
creates,
into,
right? And then that is the same one that Adolf and I followed all the way to I-5. We followed the San Joaquin River, and we found that weird box with the stuff in it, So that was interesting. Anything else that you could think of?
Well, now that we're on the subject, and I'm obviously a Bigfoot believer now, I feel a little bit bad about the way I treated the whole situation growing up, but I have a buddy that lives in Shaver Springs, California, and I was up there not that long ago, say about a month and a half ago, and they have a mama mountain lion and 2 cubs that have been picking off dogs and small horses and livestock up there, and they got a posted thing on the billboard that says, be careful and stuff like that. But we all know cats don't like water,
unless they're hunting.
Right. And there's a pond that the housing goes around like this, and his house is right before you hit the dirt road in the back, and there's a pond in the middle of all of that. Well, there's a group of geese that live in there, but I mean, I could have swore that, and it was nighttime, it was about 11 o'clock at night, and I could have swore there was something big taking a bath in the pond, because it sounded like someone was splashing water around like a bath, like you would give your kid a bath, but just like on a much larger scale. I know it wasn't the geese, because you could just tell. We had geese growing up,
right? Yeah.
So I mean, I know what they sound like in their pond, and it definitely was not that.
Were the geese like raising hell?
No, they sure
were
weren't.
Like quiet as ever.
Yeah.
So like they're Like usually geese, if anything comes in there,
They're gone. They're splitting
or they're
flapping.
real loud and chasing it around. But if it's something like that,
Yeah,
they probably know it
or
or of them, and they
Right.
know to keep their stuff quiet. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like just
right.
sit over on their side of the pond and be cool and chill while that thing bathes.
Right. Well, I know that there's an old tale up in that area, back Brett's Mill area, Peterson Mill Road and
Right.
stuff, going back towards Dinky area, that there's, from what I understand, a small community of Bigfoot.
Right.
You know, I've heard several different stories along the same line of the story from several different people. But
Like I remember, like when you guys were, I don't know, you weren't out of high school yet, and I was talking to Steveno one day, or no, they came in from a fishing trip and they were talking about this white Bigfoot that
Yeah.
they saw, and I guess it chased them or something, or they chased it. I can't remember. It was so long ago. You know?
I wouldn't be chasing no Bigfoot.
Only that started. I mean, that was way back. 30 years ago, or no, not 30.
I'm not that old.
No.
No.
So maybe like 15,
Yeah, about-
15, 16 years ago.
I would say so. 15, 20 years ago.
20, in between 15 and 20. And that actually started a search for me for the white one, because Steveno started it, telling me about the white one, and then I heard it from some of the tribal members in Sycamore were saying that they saw it, and over the years, then I probably got like 5 or 6 reports of that one, and then your brother comes along and starts telling me about the one up by Tamarack, and the family, or
brown
the
ones,
community
red
of
ones,
them.
black ones, white ones,
Yeah.
gray ones,
So like as spring
blonde-haired
breaks,
ones.
I'm gonna go to those places. I'm gonna go to Shaver Springs, and we're gonna check that out probably sooner than later on that one. And you could come along. That way you could help us figure out where it's moving and how it's moving. Because I don't hike as well as I
Used to.
Yeah. I wish I could, but only I can't. So I have to
RSD.
rely on other people, to do it, for me. But we'll do that. And also I want to go back to Millerton and talk to Mike.
Yeah,
I think that's his name.
Well, I heard stories about back in the day where they would come in and pick off little kids and
Right.
animals, and they're definitely carnivores. So as long as I can pack, we're good.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, is that it? Or we got?
Yeah,
That's a
we're
wrap,
good.
huh? All right. So I'll get this thing loaded up on YouTube, and you guys, thank you for tuning in. I love you guys. I'm praying for all of you guys, and I'll see you on the next video.